mainly in Slovakia.
Test.
That's at the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library, getting ready for 2025. So it is indeed a Happy New Year to everyone, and we are so excited. With me today is Dr. Dalibor Mikuláš, our COO and Vice President.
Dobrý den. Dobrý den.
Dobrý den. Dobrý. I was really excited about our interview today because we're going to reflect on the past. We just celebrated 50 years at the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library, and now we're looking to the next 50 years of this iconic institution that is the only national museum and library in the United States. So, Dr. Mikuláš, tell us about the last year. What is propelling us into the new year?
Well, thank you, Cecilia, and thank you for having me. I need a small help, I would say, because, last year has been extremely successful. It has been very special because we commemorated the 50th anniversary of the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library in Cedar Rapids, and there was so much to mention. I would propose to go, because it's really worthy to take a brief look back at the previous year, 2024, since it was so special. It was commemorative, and it was full of actions. Why not to take a closer and a very brief look at exhibits? Do you remember anything from that period as far as exhibits? I was really delighted by Mucha. That was really something that was like a gem.
It is, and people came from all over the country to see it because everyone knows Alfons Mucha, but they often forget that he was Czech.
And not just that, he spent considerable period of time here in the States and not far away from here in Chicago, several years. Nevertheless, in addition to this magnificent exhibit that we had, we did also bring here an exhibit focused on Václav Havel. And that was really something very, very special because Václav Havel, the first Czechoslovak president after the split, after the fall of communism, and the first Czech president after the split of Czechoslovakia, was so important as far as democracy and freedom is concerned, but he was here in 1995, right?
He was indeed, and that leads us up to the exhibits were fantastic, but we had a great event that was called the Reprise of the President. So maybe tell us about that.
Oh, that would be something that we would jump into those signature events, because usually we have Gala in May, in September Brunost, and in December our great Old World Christmas Market. But I think that you are absolutely right. The museum, the staff, the Board of Trustees, the community really delivered. It was almost 30 years, or within that period. I believe that was the 29th year after the first visit paid to Cedar Rapids by Václav Havel, Michal Kolach, and Bill Clinton. We did have here, I believe it was on the 27th of September, two great presidents, but you were very much associated with that. So how did you like them?
We all were, but I think
didn't they look like two cousins, side by side?
How proud. We had two presidents that we were so proud of, and the fact that I think the two things that keep coming to mind is how much they loved it here and how much they were appreciative of the role of the National Czech and Slovak Museum in keeping our culture alive. Both presidents remarked to me that it's magnificent what you're doing here. I feel almost more at home here than I do at home, and because the culture is so alive here, so they were very impressed with that.
I was also impressed by how many people showed up on that day when we did have that dedication ceremony connected with Orloj and with a nicely renovated clock tower. I guess that we had more than 1,500 people,
1,800
right?
people. The
Well,
estimates are 1,800 people.
Yeah. And in addition, I had to notice that was the first time for the Czech President Pavel, but also for the Slovak President Pellegrini. And that was also great to realize that these two most important dignitaries from the Czech and Slovak lands found their time and found their way to see the Rapids, which was, and I believe still is very important and will be even more important for all the Czech and Slovaks, Czech Americans, Slovak Americans here in the country. And I know that we jumped from that exhibit focused on Václav Havel, but I would like to mention that on purpose this year, and I know that we are going to open the debate in several minutes related to this year, but this year what the Czech Republic is preparing for is Czech parliamentary elections, and it's really interesting to realize that that Czech democracy, Czechoslovak democracy is very much related not just to Václav Havel, the previous president, but also to the founder of Czechoslovakia, Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk. And I believe that we will be more than happy to open the exhibit dedicated to Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk for one reason. We're still talking about the history. And excuse me for speaking too much, I'm a historian by profession. So Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk was a very special person. We know that. He was an intellectual, he was a professor, philosopher, but he did have special relationship with Cedar Rapids. So he was here in 1902, he was here in 1907. His kids, his daughter was here in 1939. His son, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jan Masaryk, was here in Cedar Rapids in 1940. And this is really something I believe that we are going to discuss, we're going to speak about in the coming year. Nevertheless, speaking about the previous year, I think that thanks to that dedication ceremony now, we do have something new with NCSML, and that's the astronomical clock. What do you think about that?
The astrological clock is really, I think for us, a centerpiece for the museum. It's the museums, it's for the city, it's for the community, it's for the state, it's for the whole world to see. And we are the only astrological clock in the Western Hemisphere built on the style of the Prague style orloy, which we call the orloy, the astrological clock.
And one thing just to add, now we have some more pieces of information, and we are going to proceed with more. But if we look at our website, then we can find some nice and interesting brief information about all the figurines that we have whirling around. We have altogether 12 figurines. So if you are interested in these figurine stories, because each and every particular figurine describes or presents a unique story connected with Czech Americans, Slovak Americans, or the other way around, but also stories that are relevant for everybody, anybody, So that's something which is very, very interesting. I believe that we're going to tackle this in the coming minutes. However, while speaking about 2024, we shouldn't somehow skip over those fantastic performances. I would start with January. In January, we had a fabulous concert by Veronika Rabada, and that was really something special. A Slovak folk star who came here and delivered a phenomenal concert. But then we might continue with Ambrož Duo, right? Who came here, and and many other. But the peak was absolutely associated with that great October,
Echoes.
which was exactly. And that's a question to you, because that was under your finger. So tell us.
Well, it was a team
a
effort.
brief summary.
I think the Czech and Slovak echoes across the United States really exemplified for us how important our cultural diversity is, in sharing it with the country. We had a fashion show, we had opera, Rusalka, the famous Rusalka. We had concerts, piano concerts, violin concerts, classical guitar concerts, and a baking cooking school that got 158 people to come to learn how to make Kolach and people to make perniki or honey cookies. So it was, I think, again, it showed the richness of who we are.
And I think that we, the museum, brought again a very nice crowd, based on this unique program of echoes. How many people were there?
We estimated for the final report about 1,500.
So again, that was a huge accomplishment for me. It was really great to see how many people were interested in Kolach. That was really, it was not shocking, but it was very, very positive surprise, because as you mentioned, almost 200 people interested in how to bake and how to prepare. That's really a very convincing and supporting evidence for organizing something like that in the coming year. But we're going to speak about that, right?
Absolutely. And the one thing about the baking that was so funny is that we had people from 5 states. people came from 5 states, and over 150 people for the kolaches, for the baraniki or the honey cookies. So it was surprising to all of us that we had a packed room.
Yeah, it brings me back again to that role of our staff, of our board members, of the community, because 2024 showed to us and to everybody that Cedar Rapids, with the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library, is a very special location. It really works like a hub for those guys who are interested in museum, in library, but also in general who are interested in culture, Czech American, Slovak American culture. It was also great to see that this is not just something that Cecilia, Dr. Rokusek, or Dalibor, Dr. Mikuláš think about, but this is also something that refers to our partners. And I'm thinking about the embassies and consulate general. So how do you see that collaboration in 2024 with the embassies?
It was great. I mean, throughout every activity, from the gala, the economic summit, to the echoes, to the presidential visit, the embassies and the ambassadors and the consul generals were with us all the way, and even the honorary consuls. So both the Czech honorary consuls and the Slovak honorary consuls bought a figurine for the clock tower. So I think that shows the support that we have nationally, and to really, as you were talking, Dalibor, I was thinking about one of the phrases that we used early on several years ago about how we preserve the past, we celebrate the present, and we create the future. And I think last year was really a good example where we really preserved the past and celebrated the 50th anniversary, and we created the future. And I think this year already, 2025, we're starting our next 50-year cycle. So tell us about that, because our theme for next year is building our future educationally or culturally, economically, and educationally. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that word that you mentioned, financially, economically, that's really something that belongs to the story. The museum is a non-for-profit organization, so yes, this year is going to be, to me, even more successful than the previous year. Nevertheless, I would like to bridge both of these topics that we started. We started talking about 24, and now we're going to enter that 25. But those partners to us, this is really that, I would say, key term as far as the success story is concerned, because we would like to continue with the successes and success stories connected with NCSML and with Cedar Rapids, the state of Iowa, and building bridges between the United States, Canada, North America, and our homelands. But again, getting back to our embassies, I was delighted to see in the previous year and also in this year that support, even financial support, that the museum has been receiving from the Czech Consulate General, or Czech Embassy, if I want to generalize, and also from the Slovaks. I think that it was important to succeed with the Slovaks last year. We received a nice grant supporting our library and our archival resources, because we succeeded with bringing the largest Slovak library from Danville, Pennsylvania to the museum, and it shows how important this museum is nationally, that really we have NCSML stakeholders in the country that are interested in bringing to us not just donations, but also interesting archival materials. And that just brings us to the point when we see that the museum is becoming more and more national, more and more international. So, but getting back to the finances, perfect to see that we are supported by the Czech-Slovak embassies, perfect to see that we are supported by the community, perfect to see that we are supported by the city. And again, this year, as it was the case last year, we're going to organize even economically interesting events. One of them will be definitely the Economic Summit, to be held together with Gala on the 2nd and the 3rd of May 2025. It's going to be great. This year we're even in collaboration with our TP College of Business. You met with the dean. How was that initial communication with her?
It was wonderful to meet with her because when I first got here in 2018, we wrote to each other, and she said, I'm half Czech. And we never got the chance to meet. She came for the presidential visit. And so for us, you joined me, went to meet with her. It was great because to know that our Dean of Business at the Tippy College of Business is half Czech was great. And she's very proud of her heritage. And I think the fact that she wants to collaborate with us in the college, I think that's a really great initiative for the future.
And this is it. The presidents brought quite a bit of attention, and there are so many other very important dignitaries representing either those embassies, consulates, or those big corporations. I was delighted by seeing the representatives from Collins Aerospace, RTX, so that was really massive. And I was really very proud of the community here in Cedar Rapids because we were joined by the mayor, Tiffany O'Donnell, together with Jeff Pomerantz, the city manager, and it just shows how important it is to be in partnerships, to be in that collaborative mood. I have almost forgotten to mention that in September we brought a delegation of 10 important businessmen from the state of Iowa to the Czech Republic and Slovak Republic, and again, in this year we have quite a bit of work to get ready for. Because there are so many things to come. So what are we going to start talking about? Which particular segment would you like to start talking as far as 25 is concerned?
Well, I think that one of the most exciting things that we're doing for 25, and you can talk about it, is we're going to have monthly podcasts and bi-monthly webinars. I think, we did a survey 4 years ago about what people want to see from us, and that was right after the pandemic, of course. So people talked about, more media, more digitalization, more, and so I think this is a way to reach that international market. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you have planned from these webinars and podcasts, which will be available to anyone?
I'm going to correct you, what we have been planning, right?
Right, what we've been planning.
And again, it's so much associated with that awareness that we raised last year, because there was a huge impact of the presidential visit both in the Czech and Slovak republics. And based on that, we received a larger number of people, organizations, institutions getting ready and being ready to collaborate with Cedar Rapids and NCSML and participating in our, let's say, plans, events, and programs. So based on that, in this year, we're going to have, again, a new element. That's something that you have already mentioned. We're going to have 2 representatives. NCSML is going to have 2 representatives, one in the Czech Republic and one in the Slovak Republic. In the Slovak Republic, it's Dr. Pavel Demeš, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, and in the Czech Republic, it's the former director of Czech Center in New York, Mirek Konvalina. Both of these 2 gentlemen are very, very close friends of NCSML, and each of them is going to prepare monthly podcasts, so we can be ready for some news coming from the homelands, related to the homelands and the connections with the states. And in addition to that, we're going to have also 5 or 6 webinars organized in this year, 2025, because there are several important commemorations, anniversaries that everybody is going to celebrate in the whole world. One of them is, for instance, the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, which is very important, I would say, anniversary, also in relation with what's happening in the recent months and in the recent 1-2 years in the world in connection to Central Europe and war in Ukraine and elsewhere.
Well, that sounds really exciting. And then for people that are here in Cedar Rapids and want to get actively involved, so we've got sort of the wonderful news from our homeland and programs from our homeland. What's going on here? I know you have something already planned for February.
Oh, that's
very exciting. And,
yes.
And we hope people will get their tickets soon as they're posted.
Oh yes. So we have an interesting Slovak band coming, and they have a very special. Do you remember its title, its name? It's
Yes.
Srdcovka. Srdcovka. So it's really a Slovak band that is coming to Cedar Rapids and is going to help us celebrate Saint Valentine's Day and love, if I may put it this way. It's I believe that it's going to be a very special day. For sure, I wouldn't like to mention everything about that right now, but for anybody who is interested, we're going to have all the information available at our website, and we'll share that with our members through an email blast email. So we'll get more information about
We'll
that.
also have posters around.
Sure.
So it's right now tentatively for February 21st, correct?
Yes, it's February 21st, and that's the Slovak one. Then we have a great Czech event, Czech performance, which is associated with the 7th of March, right?
Right.
That's something that you should mention.
Well, this is a real coup, and you know that as well as I do. Petr Janda is the Mick Jagger of Czechoslovakia, as he's often been compared, but he's iconic. He's 83 years old, and this is his last American tour, and he's never been to the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library. He's from Prague. He was the leader of the Olympic band, which was a major band you would know growing up there. And he usually only comes to Florida and maybe to New York or Washington, and this year he's coming here. And Petr Janda, this is his last American tour. So we should pack the museum for that one.
Truly, he is a Czech and Slovak rock legend, living legend, and I think that we're going to have a great time with this legendary singer. So that's about March. We have already mentioned May. We're going to have again Colorful People. I believe that we did have an opportunity in 2024 to enjoy their concerts. They were with us at Gala. They had a separate individual concert, and they're going to be with us again, and I'm looking forward to this truly Czechoslovak or Czech and Slovak bands. Their repertoire is full of English, but also Czech and Slovak songs, so I think that it'll be a delightful thing.
And in April, for all of our jazz enthusiasts, we have the top jazz singer from Prague, Jan Smigmatar, and his last performance was at Carnegie Hall, and he's coming to us with Emil
Viklický, yes.
And Emil Viklický is well known here in Cedar Rapids. He used to do a lot of concerts here before the pandemic, and we sell his CDs at our store. So the two of them, and these are real jazz aficionados.
I think that we could continue with, in every and each month we're going to have interesting additions to our concerts, performances. Nevertheless, if we want to cover this area of music events and concerts, we cannot skip the Four Tenors.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be another highlight. And
When?
That's October.
Oh yeah.
October. The Four Tenors are from Prague, and they have performed in Carnegie Hall too. I think, Dalibor, what you mentioned early on about the sort of the museum as being, Masaryk was here, Havel was here, Dvořák was in Iowa. So we had all these people that really recognized Iowa as being this sort of hub or epicenter, if we want to use that term. And now, in the 21st century, so many of these groups are seeing us, i.e. in Cedar Rapids, as being the place they want to come to. And so the Four Tenors will be magnificent.
And absolutely, and for me it's delightful to see that loop of those locations where these stars and celebrities come, consist of larger cities like Chicago, like New York, Washington, but Cedar Rapids is there, and that's really delightful. If we can jump onto our signature events, because this is really something that we need to mention. We're getting ready for a great gala at the beginning of May. I really, I'm convinced of having very interesting performers, exhibits open, nice crowds gathering here on that occasion. We're going to have Brunos, the International Beer Festival, successfully organized. For sure, we're going to have a great Old World Christmas Market. Last year, I'm not quite sure, we had more than 2,000 people at our Old World Christmas Market, and that was great. But there is also something new among our signature events. So this is the first year, 2025, is the first year when we are going to have two ceremonies, one in March and the other one in November. And this is connected with our new addition, the astronomical clock, Orloj, our Bureš Immigration Tower. And that's really an important point to mention, and also important agenda to get ready for and to get ready with. So what's going to happen on the 20th of March? That's a question. Do you know that?
Well, that's our big day to open it up, the first day of spring, and to open up the wonderful Bureš Immigration Clock Tower.
Absolutely. And, you know, astronomy, astronomical clock, the first spring day, all of these are going to be nicely connected with our planned fifth station. Now I'm talking about those school tours and our educational programs, because we would like to focus our attention in this year on creating that fifth station for the school kids, to provide them with an opportunity to have an experience with STEM approaches, to support their interests in natural sciences like mathematics, physics, but also astronomy. So this is really going to be very interesting. We picked up also the day for the end of the season. We have to consider and respect special weather in the state of Iowa. So our season, Orloj season in 2025, is going to start on the 20th of March, and it's going to be done on the 17th of November. Do you know why it's the 17th of November?
Course, the overthrow of communism and student riots.
Exactly. So it's a very special day, and we picked it up. I'm saying we because it's always about the president, staff, vice president, board of trustees. But the 17th of November is really a special day. Officially, it's the International Students' Day, and it's so much connected with Central Europe, with Czechoslovakia, with the Czech lands, with Prague. And what a unique way to bring together those culturally related events with the deep history and also with the sense to, you know, take care of the past, so that the present and future are nicely and positively impacted by the lessons that the mankind, us, learned in the previous years, in the previous periods. So that's something very, very important. I'm really delighted by seeing in 2024 that we succeeded with the renovation of now Bureš Immigration Tower. I think that we have some, again, last year when we were having this discussion, I said we do have some surprises. So for 2025, we have some other surprises connected with Bureš Immigration Tower, with the new things to appear on the tower again. And this is going to be great. And I have to share with you something that I shared with you today, early in the morning in our meeting here with the staff. And that's something that I saw in New Bull Market. I saw a gingerbread clock tower built by a student from Metro High School, and that was great. Did you see it?
I did indeed. And you know what, it's so nice to see it, because that clock tower may become sort of a symbol for the museum, a symbol for the community, a symbol. So that's great. I see buses parked there. I love it. And no, that was great.
It was a fantastic follow-up, and what a great way to see that what we bring to the community is nicely, you know, is nicely impacted, and I believe that the student who baked that clock tower from ginger is going to be somehow nicely recognized, either within that competition or by some other means. It was a great thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more impacts based on our nicely renovated Bureš Immigration Tower.
I'm sure more to come, a lot more to come. And you know that we're going to have hardly a time to breathe. We thought 25 would be less, but it's going to be just as busy. But I do want you to close on one thing, Dalibor, and that's you've got some great workshops planned. We want people to come to Cedar Rapids and learn here, because this is really, museums are educational units. They're educational bodies. They, you know, whether you go through an exhibit, whether you come to the library, but we're actually going to be teaching some fun courses. What are we going to just highlight some that we're going to be teaching this summer?
Well, you see that I need to be really helped by these handouts, because truly the programs, events, and all of these concerts, simply speaking, the program, the schedule for 2025 is as rich as was the previous year. So at least 2 or 3 workshops that I would like to highlight, if you don't mind. Firstly, Cymbal. So we are going to have a workshop. It'll be held in July, so just please follow our website, follow our social media, particularly the Facebook, because we have more than 14,000 followers at our Facebook. So we are going to have a great workshop with a true Moravian. If you want to mention some experience of yours with Harafica, I'll be more than delighted.
Peter
When
Gabas,
at your birthday party?
not at my birthday party, at Mira Carolina's birthday party.
Oh.
Not at my birthday, but Peter Gabas.
I'm talking about 2 years ago, you know, your birthday party in
they
Slovakia.
they were at my 39th birthday
Oh,
party. They
yes,
were
exactly.
indeed. I forgot about that. They were. Thank you for reminding me about my 39th birthday. I forgot.
And that was a great time, but Harafica was here. They're quite familiar and they're quite popular. So I think that that Cymbal workshop is going to be very special. We will have one of the greatest players representing also Harafica, and it'll be held in July. We're going to have again a fantastic workshop with Moravians. I'm talking about the Moravian beauty, right?
The Moravian gossip area.
Exactly. And that's something that we have to mention, Monika Winterlich. It's impossible to neglect this lady, so she's going to be very active and supportive to bring this Moravian folklore decorations to Cedar Rapids again.
It'll be the third year.
Yes, and it'll be held in August. It'll be held in August. And obviously for me, the most important thing is, again, we're getting back to Cedar Rapids. We're getting back to something which is so special for Cedar Rapids, and that's a huge tradition, Kolach tradition. I have to come back to this because this is something that you can see everywhere. All the people queuing during Old World Christmas markets, waiting for them. They are sold out like this. And that surprising interest shown up to us, which was shown up to, or which was out there in 2024 when you organized the workshop in baking. That was just a very supportive thing to state that we need to do more. People are hungry for that, literally and figuratively. People are hungry for that. So I'm really looking forward to that workshop, paying attention to Kolach. And maybe you are going to disclose, you know, the secret recipe that NCSMLB has been using.
Absolutely, we'll share it. Absolutely. There are several recipes.
Oh, yes. So
well, that's a really good overview. So you can see, I think, that we have so much planned, and 2025 will be a great way, as we say, to start building our next 50 years culturally, economically, and educationally. And so we look forward to that. And always refer to us, give us a call if you have any questions, go on our website, and most importantly, come and visit. We'll be opening some great new exhibits, and one of them that we have is going to be castles, which is
Oh, yes.
a great one for children and families, all about castles.
this is going to be maybe 1 minute more. It's going to be we have almost forgotten that. We're going to have a great exhibit, the amazing castle. So all the kids are going to have in the summertime, I believe it's either from May or yes, it's starting in May, 10th of May. So we're going to have a great exhibit. The kids would be provided with a unique opportunity to tackle medieval castles, castles which are so special for the old continent, for Europe, but very, very special for Slovaks, Czechs, Moravians. Our lands, homelands are full of these wonderful castles, chateaus, and we will try our best to somehow supplement that with interesting activities. if we are concluding with our plans for 2025, I think that it's a fantastic opportunity for us to express our gratitude. Gratitude to the staff members, because what we have accomplished in the recent years, and particularly in 2024, accurately commemorating the 50th anniversary, we presented our best. So great gratitude and thanks to the staff members, to the Board of Trustees members, to the community, also to the city, because the mayor and the city manager have been very, very supportive, and I believe that it's going to continue. But also to all NCSML stakeholders, because this is the time right at the beginning of the year when we have to realize that without this team effort, without us doing those things, none of these would be possible.
Absolutely, beautifully said. And I think looking at our forefathers, our foremothers, who really saw this vision to make this place what it is. So in combination with our founders and with all the people that you noted, we have really built a great institution for the whole world.
And that thank you is also associated with probably the last bullet for today, which is the book that you have been preparing. So can you mention something about that?
Oh, well, thank you. We are preparing, there has never been a book, thank you, Dalibor, written about the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library. So under the leadership of Lori Rathke and her team, they are writing it. We waited after the president's left. We were going to do it before, but we waited till and it'll be coming out in the spring, probably now. It's going to be a couple of 100-page book about the museum and the history and the founding. It'll be a real, what we call coffee table treasure. So watch for that. The book will be coming out.
And meanwhile, because it's going to take several weeks or months to get that finally into our hands.
Right.
Meanwhile, if you are interested in the history of NCSML, with all those beautiful programs that were here last year, we recorded everything. Everything is available now at our new Netflix-style TV. It's called ncsmltv.com. If you are interested, just click once again ncsmltv.com, and you will find a nice and rich array of so many interesting documentaries, scholarly presentations. I'm not going to say more. Take a look, ncsmltv.com.
You'll be very proud, so please do that. Very good. Well, thank you so much,
you very much.
Dalibor, and we'll see you all next month. But more importantly, let's look forward to the next year.
Thank you so much. Dovi naschle.
Nashledavi. Nashledanou a dovidenia.